Hey guys, just food for thought. As I sit here and I watch my fish tanks peacefully and watching the fish swim around, good stress reliever at night for sure. And I'm also watching the news right now and seeing the country burn, riots happening all over the country. And you know what? The irony is just too sweet. Because you know what? I've been railing against this COVID thing and about how governments got way too tyrannical with it, and it was just a big overreach program to take our rights, slowly get us used to being violated in this manner and conditioned to accept our rights being taken. Well, I was saying go out, people, go outside. The numbers are in, the virus isn't that dangerous. Go enjoy your life. Don't let government stop you and violate your rights and freedoms. And you know what? The government was heavy-handed, man. They were fining people for sitting in parks. They were roughing people up for, dare going out. Shutting businesses down, arresting people for giving haircuts. And the irony, like I said, I'm sitting here, it's bittersweet tonight, watching thousands upon thousands of people crowded across the country right now, rioting in multiple city locations. Because you know what? I think everyone just got red-pilled real fast. Because two things are going to happen. Well, one thing for sure is if this whole COVID thing's real and all these millions of people right now and gathered in groups riding through the cities, we gonna see one hell of a second wave. So maybe that'll be used to their benefit. Maybe that's gonna be their excuse to bring in the next phase of martial law after the race riots fail. It'll be, because everyone was out, all the COVID spread, it upticked. Or what I think is going to happen, because COVID is actually not that dangerous, so they have to fudge the numbers. What I think is going to happen is you're going to see that not a lot of people, after they're all out, swarmed in these tight-knit riots and all hanging out in groups, are not going to be dropping off like flies, that everyone's actually healthy, and the COVID was nothing but a big scare tactic. And what's that going to teach us a year down the road when everything calms down, if it does? That the whole COVID hoax was a big goddamn lie, like we've been saying from the goddamn beginning. That it was all just there to take your rights away. And that's why people were protesting, the ones that were woke, the ones that were saying, going out and end the lockdown and stuff. It's not that we don't want, it's not that we want people to die, it's not like we want grandma to die, absolutely not. But you don't get the right to shut down people's businesses and basically put everyone in house arrest because there's a pandemic going on. You know what? Freedom is dangerous. And, I want the right to live free and the right to be dangerous. There's risk in everything in life. There's risk that I drive my vehicle down the road, get in a car accident, die. There's risk that I die from some kind of health condition. People are allowed to eat themselves into oblivion, into obesity, and maybe knock 10, 20 years off the end of their life. People are allowed to go skydiving with that accepted risk. With freedom becomes responsibility. With freedom becomes risk. And I'm down for that, With the whole pandemic thing, the best way they should have handled it is if you're really concerned that the virus was a threat to you and it could kill you or your elderly folk, stay home. Exercise caution, responsibility. But for the 99% of people that could go out in the public and get COVID and still work and go and, keep the economy running and it wouldn't have affected anything, those people shouldn't have the option to accept that risk, because that's what freedom is about. When the founding fathers, when the people who wrote these constitutions, these Bill of Rights, and if you're in Canada, Charter Rights, when people come up with these principles and ideas, it was a couple hundred years ago when times were more rough, when they didn't have hospital tech the way we do now, when they didn't have tuberculosis vaccines and all these other things that they can take you and patch you up at the hospital, So back then, people were dying like crazy as well. And you know what? They didn't say, hey, let's form the Declaration of Independence and write the Bill of Rights and all that stuff. And, but let's put a clause in there that if shit gets real crazy and wild, throw it all under the table. It doesn't matter. No, they knew the risk. And they knew times would be dangerous, I like to wear the shirt Molon Lavi, and I always like the story of Leonidas and the 300. And, we idolize those type of people through history. And you got to think about it. You got a Persian army roll up on Leonidas. If you go by the historical numbers or not, outnumbering him 10, 20, 30 and fold. And, all he had to do was just bow the knee to Xerxes, give in to slavery just a little bit, you know, maybe cooperate, say he's your king, you know, let your don't bear arms, give them your weapons. Maybe they would have been spared. But you know what Leonidas and the people said? We will have every one of us die, our women and children taken into slavery, raped, or worse, before we ever bend the knee to tyranny. No matter how dangerous the situation is, we won't give up our rights. And that's where the people need to get back to. Molon Lave, come and take it, you know. Get back to that mentality that it's all about freedom. And, you know, with freedom comes responsibility and risk. So I'm sitting here peacefully watching my fish tanks tonight, watching the news, watching the country burn. And, you know, the irony in the fact that COVID-19 pandemic clearly out the window. Social distancing out the window. So let's all see how this ends up down the road. And we can look back on this all and see that, oh, it was all just bullshit. Because obviously, with the amount of people protesting out on the street right now, and this is when I'm throwing the red flag up now early, I'm calling it before it comes in. You know, I'm calling this now before the months down the road. You watch. The next thing they'll probably try and say is, well, see, this is why you got to be all locked back in your house because how dare you guys were out there protesting, and it created the second wave. But the media ain't going to say that right now because then they might be called racist because they've been pushing this racist agenda and race baiting all these years. So now if the media jumps on the bandwagon and starts saying, hey, all these protesters that are protesting George's death, go the hell home, you're violating social distancing orders, well, then they might get attacked. You know, the way CNN headquarters got attacked. And people will be more pissed off at the media. The people might start saying, hey, you're racist. You don't care about Black Lives Matter. So the irony of that, they stirred up all this shit, and now it's being flung right back at them. And now they just red-pilled the nation, and we got people out enjoying their summer, protesting and rioting, which I don't agree with. But at least the common thread is people revolting against authority, revolting against our freedoms being taken away, which I can get on board with. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy your rest of your night.